Welcome to StoryNews English. Today we come to a story called, Can Trump Bring Peace to Ukraine? What if the fate of an entire nation, its freedom, its borders, its very survival, was debated not in trenches or missile strikes but inside the White House? On the 18th of August, 2025, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stood in Washington, surrounded by some of Europe's most powerful leaders, facing an extraordinary question. Can Donald Trump, a man who once praised Vladimir Putin, now become the broker of peace in a war that has shaken the world? This summit was unlike any before. Imagine the human toll: children in Kharkiv hiding from missiles, families separated, soldiers wounded while in Washington. Leaders discussed the future of their homeland. Could this be the turning point toward peace, or just another chapter of broken promises? Today, we will unpack what really happened at the White House showdown. The dramatic events, the emotional climax, the ripple effects for civilians, economies, and global politics. And finally, we'll explore what this means for you, for me, and for the world. On the 18th of August, 2025, the White House became the stage of an extraordinary diplomatic gathering. U.S. President Donald Trump invited Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to Washington, just days after Trump's controversial meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. But this time, Trump was not alone. He was flanked by an unprecedented coalition of European leaders. France's Emmanuel Macron, Germany's Friedrich Merz, the UK's Keir Starmer, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, Finland's Alexander Stubb, and top officials from the European Union and NATO. The reason was clear. Ukraine's war had entered a brutal new phase. Russia intensified strikes on Kharkiv and other regions, killing civilians even as peace talks loomed. Zelensky arrived demanding one thing: security guarantees. He firmly declared that no deal could involve surrendering land, not Crimea, not Donbas. Trump, however, signaled a different approach. He pledged that the United States would help assure Ukraine's security, hinting at NATO-style guarantees, but without committing to exact details. Some saw this as a bold opening for negotiations. Others feared it was the start of dangerous ambiguity. The summit was designed to show unity, yet beneath the surface, cracks in strategy were already visible. The emotional peak came as Europe pushed back against Trump's deal-first instincts. Macron, Starmer, and Merz reminded Trump that any peace must begin with a ceasefire. Otherwise, negotiations would simply legitimize Russia's aggression. Zelensky, standing beside them, insisted, "We cannot trade our territory for promises." His words echoed the fears of millions of Ukrainians. Tensions rose when Trump floated the possibility of arranging a direct Zelensky-Putin meeting. For some, it was a daring step toward ending the war. For others, it was a reckless gamble, placing Ukraine's leader in the same room with Putin without a solid ceasefire in place. European leaders reacted cautiously, wary that Trump might pressure Ukraine into concessions. Behind closed doors, debates grew heated. Could Trump's desire for a historic deal override the careful conditions Europe sought to impose? The summit became not just about Ukraine's survival, but about trust. Trust in Trump, trust in diplomacy, and trust that peace could be real. For observers, the scene highlighted the clash between speed and caution, between a show of strength and the delicate work of lasting peace. Meanwhile, civilians in Ukraine bore the cost. On the same day as the summit, Russian drone and missile attacks struck Kharkiv, killing children and wounding dozens. For families sheltering in basements, news of leaders debating in Washington felt distant, almost surreal. Economically, Ukraine signaled resilience, Zelensky discussed a potential $90 billion weapons package with European support, both to defend Ukraine and to anchor any peace in real military capacity. Such numbers reveal the staggering scale of this war. Peace will not come cheap. Politically, the summit revealed a divide. Europe emphasized principles: no territorial concessions, enforceable security guarantees, and a ceasefire before negotiation. Trump emphasized results, a peace deal he could brand as historic. For Ukraine, caught between these poles, the path forward grew uncertain. Would peace mean justice or compromise under pressure? The human toll on civilians, the financial weight of war, and the political tug-of-war underscored that the summit was not an isolated event, but a crossroad for Ukraine's future and for Europe's credibility as a united front against Russian aggression. The world watched with bated breath. In Asia, governments noted Trump's willingness to sideline a ceasefire, seeing echoes of American pragmatism in other conflicts. In Africa and Latin America, leaders questioned whether great power deals still overshadowed the rights of smaller nations. Europe emerged more united than ever, standing shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine. Yet they also feared Trump's unpredictable style. Would he truly commit American power to Ukraine's defense, or cut a deal with Putin to end the war quickly? For ordinary people worldwide, the summit raised timeless questions. What is peace without justice? Can security guarantees replace sovereignty? And should smaller nations be asked to sacrifice land for the sake of global stability? The answers are not simple, and they will shape the world for decades to come. As you reflect, ask yourself, if you were in Zelensky's shoes, facing bombs at home and pressure abroad, would you hold the line, or would you compromise for peace? This question is not just for Ukraine, but for anyone who believes in the principles of sovereignty and justice. The White House showdown of the 18th of August, 2025, was a moment where hope and danger collided. Trump promised security, Europe demanded principles, and Zelensky insisted on sovereignty. Yet, as missiles rained on Kharkiv, it became clear that the war's reality was harsher than any diplomatic script. This summit was not just about Ukraine, it was about the future of international order. Do powerful nations dictate peace, or do smaller nations have the right to define it for themselves? The answer will shape not only Europe, but the entire global balance. For Ukrainians, the stakes are survival. For Trump, the stakes are legacy. For Europe, the stakes are credibility. And for the world, the stakes are the meaning of peace itself. So as you watch this story unfold, ask, can Trump truly broker peace? Or will history remember this summit as a moment when hope was overshadowed by compromise? If you enjoyed this journey through history, politics, and economics, hit that subscribe button for more stories that sharpen your English and expand your mind. Because here at StoryNews English, we believe that learning the world's stories is the first step to shaping its future. Thank you for watching the video. I wish you good health, happiness, and prosperity.